Hello, welcome to swinpop's Plan B again. Today I'm ranking how good UFC fighters would be if they were in their own fighting game, not UFC 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1. I'm talking about a Tekken kind of Mortal Kombat Street Fighter kind of game where they've got techie powers and combos and shit like that. Okay. Starting off relatively well with Tom Aspinall, who I'm gonna put B because I feel like Tom Aspinall would be he'd be a bit boring to play just because he's knocking everyone out. You know, he's just simply too powerful. You don't get good enough combos off of him. Kind of just have a 30-second fight and you've won. You know. To play against, I think he'd be just super broken as well. It'd just make the game unfun, you know. And like you'd probably have like the best Tekken player just not wanting to fight the next best Tekken player because he's so good. But anyway, next we got Sean Strickland. Oh yeah, he's not gonna have as much like elemental stuff about him. It's gonna be very like he's not gonna be flashy, you know. It's just gonna be normal, you know. It's gonna be normal, but he's got that like swag to him, you know, the Philly shell and the just being American really. Just plains, you know. You know, I woke up this morning. I thought, you know what? I wouldn't mind if I get conscripted today to fight, even if it is for the Israelis. But yeah, I wouldn't mind getting conscripted, just because I don't want to do physics. But then it turned out the physics paper was actually very easy, so my plan worked off. Revised all night, didn't sleep, and it's fine. So, but yeah, Sean Strickland, he'd have a certain amount of swag to him. You know, it'd be like kind of like Aaron Black. I'm sure Sean Strickland would have a gun if he was in Mortal Kombat Tekken. We'll just call it UFC Street Fighter or Elemental. Yeah, I think she'd surely have a pistol like Aaron Black. You know, someone like that. But next up, Haquain Buckley. Oh yeah, okay. Hey, he'd be doing like some spinning shit. He'd definitely have like a. He gives me kind of a frosty vibe, maybe like Sub-Zero. Like that would be his element, you know. He'd be frosty. Or who's the jacked guy with the robotic arms? I've left out one key feature of his character just because it relates to Haquain Buckley, but yeah, you know the one, the jacked guy with the robot arms who just smashes the ground, like red shit comes out and stuff like that. That would be Haquain Buckley, but like he'd have ice with him, you know. I don't know what it is about Haquain Buckley, but he's just icy, he's frosty, you know. Too bad he lost on the weekend. Bryce Mitchell. Now, Bryce Mitchell is the real Aaron Black. Okay, I changed my mind, you know. Sean Strickland, yeah, he's got it, but Bryce Mitchell is the Aaron Black of the UFC, you know. He'd have the whole cowboy thing worked out, you know. And he'd have boots on, and that would be one of his moves. It'd be like a kick to the nuts or something. Jan Blachowicz. It's kind of a... When you're playing Tekken, you don't like the really massive tanky guys. I know I've just put Quinn Buckley there, but he's not heavyweight, you know. These light heavyweight guys, you don't really like having some massive guys to play with. You want like the quick snappy ones, you know. But no, Jan Blachowicz would definitely have some cool power though. It'd be like Polish power, and he just like smashes the ground with a fist, and like his opponent flies up into the air, and he just combos him in the air and shit like that, you know. Oh, but yeah, Jan Blachowicz would be cool, and he'd have a leg kick, and like it would just shout. That would be like one of his fatalities. Like he'd leg kick you, and your leg just snaps in half, and then he just tees off on you over and over again. And he smashes your face in, and he grabs your leg and goes doom 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 like Thor and Hulk, you know, shit like that. Cody Garbrandt, yo, Cody Garbrandt's going S, bro. Cody Garbrandt, imagine playing with Cody Garbrandt with all the taunts and shit. Bro, he'd be moving like just shit like this, you know? And then all of a sudden, pop, 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 pop. And bro, he'd be too quick. He'd be like you know in Overwatch, you know Genji? That's what, like, if Genji was in a fight game, that would be Cody Garbrandt in the fight game. You know, he's really fun to play. But he's not that good to play, and that's what kind of makes him more fun, because you only have the skillful players playing him, you know? Like, especially modern Genji, when he's just ass now, he shoots like piss shurikens at you. But yeah, no, especially like Genji, you know, like all the skillful players would be playing Cody Garbrandt. Yeah, you know what I mean. Low-key same with Corey Sandhagen. Um, Corey Sandhagen would be really technical. I'm gonna put him S as well. Maybe I'll put him A. He doesn't have as much versatility as Cody Garbrandt, but he'd be like really technical character that you'd have to play, and you need to like really learn the manuscript to play him, you know? Oh my god, there's just so many elite guys here. Izzy, I'm not a massive fan of Izzy, but in a fight game, bro, Izzy would be sick, throwing question mark kicks and shit like that. Bro, it's like UFC 5, he's really fun to play, but yo, Izzy would have all the elements, you know? The last stylebender, he'd literally be the avatar. He'd have Earth, Earth, air, fire, water. Bro, he'd have all that shit, you know? You know, like, and his bow as well. He'd have the bow. He'd have the bow, like what he did to Alex Pereira. If you know the one UFC like edit they made of Izzy knocking out Alex Pereira, and he's got all the little like different element arrows, and he's shooting Pereira with, and he, like falls through the parking garage or whatever. I don't even know what it is. But yeah, when he's shooting him with that, and his eyes light blue, bro, that'd be so sick. And he'd have electricity as well. Izzy would zip around. Like, Izzy would be like Raiden. He'd be kind of like Raiden in that, because he'd teleport behind you and pa pa pa, I mean teleport away, pa pa pa, you know? And then he'd like have a bow and go, yeah, that would be one of his moves, like energy bow that just comes out of his hands, and we teleport, pop pop pop, question mark kick, bro. Izzy would be so fun to play. C for cock, you know? Oh, play me, play me! Yeah, bro. C for cock. I put him lower, but C for cock, you know? He'd just be like... He's one of those characters where you're flicking through who you want to play, and he's kind of just there. He doesn't stand out at all. He's literally just there. You're like, oh, that guy's got some cool shorts. Next one, next one, next one, you know? That's all I've got to say about it. Ooh, okay. The Cannibal. Alexandre Pantoja. I don't know. He definitely, like, one of his fatalities would be, you know, what's it? Is it Braxa? So, wait, I don't know what it is. It's that one guy, and he's got the claws as his hands, and the teeth, you know, from Mortal Kombat. And, like, it's a virus that spreads, and it turns you into these weird monsters. That would be Alexandre Pantoja, the Cannibal, you know? That'd be one of his KOs. He'd, like, jump on your back and just bite your neck out, you know? Oh, he'd be kind of sick. Maybe he'd go A. I might need to move the heavyweights down. I'm gonna keep him there. They'd still be fun, actually. I've made my point on them. The Cannibal, I feel like I might have to move him higher. I'm gonna move him to A. There's too many A tiers, but they're so good. Oh, another one, man. Oliveira would be so fun to play as well, because I tell you what Oliveira would be, right? You'd come out, and he'd have, like, some Brazil beam, right? Like, on his hands. He'd be like this with his high guard, with his Brazil beam, and then, like, he'd go, and he'd, like, Brazil you, you know? And then his fatality would be, again, like Alexandre Pantoja. He's got the full body triangle locked in, he's just choking you out, right? And he chokes you so hard, he just rips your head off, takes out your spine, snaps it, and then after that, he jumps off your back and just gives you a little, you know? Like, just be really nice afterwards, after he just killed you and there's blood all over his face and stuff. That would be Charles Oliveira. Merab Dvalishvili. I'm gonna go C for now. But I feel like he'd kind of have... I feel like I put him C for cut, but he needs to go lower. Merab Dvalishvili, he'd have, like... He'd be like a goblin, you know? He'd be a goblin character. He'd have little like knives in his pocket maybe, and he'd just like zing, 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 throw them at you. And then one of his moves would be like he picks you up and slams you on the ground, you know, like what he did to Henry Cejudo. And he gives you a couple punches, and then he stands back up and moves. And then what was his fatality be? He'd be like, Georgia! And then like massive Georgia flag comes out and just beams you. Something like that, I don't know. That was kind of really anticlimactic. I can't get him. Because there's an ad there. Where would he go? I think it's going to be the same level as Marab. Like, the thing is about Volk, he's very... That's the word I was looking for Sean Strickland. He's very fundamental, but... And it'll be fun to play, but it's more of just a... leg kick. He'd be, Yeah, he's just very fundamental, you know? But I love Volk, but he's very fundamental. I can't think of something cool he would... Oh, okay, here's what he'd have. He'd have a sword, you know? Volk could have, like, Alexander the Great, right? He'd just take out a sword, and that would be one of his moves. He slashes you with it, you know? That would be one of Volk's moves. Okay, that's kind of cool, you know? That's all I can kind of think of, but I wish I could think of more. Okay. Ooh. I feel like he'd be like... He'd have teeth. A bit like Alexandre Pantoja, the Braxa... I don't know what his name. The teeth guy. He'd definitely have teeth. Like, he'd just smile at you and shit, and he'd just fucking bite you, and he'd just maul you, you know? Let's find Hamza, because he'd be the same. And let's find Ankalaev, because he'd be the same. And there's Khabib on here, because he'd also be the same. No, I'm joking. JDM. JDM's definitely Goblin. Yo, these three, this is the Goblin archetype, you know? This is the Goblin archetype. They're all just like weird little goblin things. Like, I literally just realized Volk kind of looks like a goblin a little bit. Not as chopped as JDM or Marab, but he kind of looks like a goblin. I'm going to put Ankalaev there as well. This is the goblin archetype. I don't know what it is. Volk, just a little bit, not like crazy, but he kind of looks like a goblin. There's nothing against him. He's a good looking guy, but he kind of looks like a goblin, no diddy. No gay shit. Ooh, okay, this one would be fun. You know, he just have the weirdest shit to play with. If you ever play Castle Crashers, or what's it, Battle Block Theatre, and you've got Hattie, but I'm specifically talking about the one in Castle Crashers. Like, once you buy Battle Block Theatre, you can get whatever his name, Hatman or Hattie or whatever, and you can bring him to Castle Crashers and you play him, and he's just got the weirdest shit. Like, his powers, it's like a trail of like gems and then like a weird like gold whale thing falls out, shit like that, you know? He'd have just the weirdest stuff to play around with. It'd be kind of fun. Okay, Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland would be fun. He'd also be like... This is like the cowboy archetype. That's what he'd be like as well. But I'm just gonna... I think I might move him one down. I'll look at Islam fits in that goblin archetype a little bit, but... Yeah, oh man, Kevin Holland, I don't know. He'd be like... He'd be fun, you know? He'd just be a fun guy to play with. Like, he'd be reliable fun, you know? Like that. Max Holloway would be throwing some crazy stuff. You know, that would be another meta character. Yo, who's meta at the moment? Yeah, bro, Max Holloway. You know? What would he have? He'd have, like, a Hawaiian punch power, you know? He'd have some colourful powers. Like, he gets a coconut, he throws it at you and stuff like that. And he's got, like, a surf power where, like, a board comes out of the sky and he surfs on it and, like, slashes your neck or something. Yeah, nah, he's kind of sick, low-key. Shove cut, same as Alexandre Pantoja, low-key, he'd just eat you. That'd be his whole thing, he'd just eat you. Like, he'd be stone cold like this. And he'd just walk over to you. And that would be his thing, just heavy punches, you know? heavy punches, 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 punches. Right? Maybe throws a couple kicks as well. Like, and they'd be like, it would be like really hard spinning back kicks, like not like wheel kicks, spinning back kicks, like Quayne Buckley's against fucking the guy, like hard ones. And the one he did to, was it Neil Magny, like that, like just heavy stuff for shove cut. And then after that, he'd just devour you, like he'd like tear your leg off. That'd be like his fatality. And you just stop munching on it. Michael Chandler's kind of like this archetype as well, you know, the smashers. You get me? Shit like that. He'd be another just American guy. Ooh, okay, yeah. Give credit where credit's due. John Jones would be so fun to play with. Like a rangy guy, but not too like smash heavy, you know? Just a rangy guy, and he throw a couple eye pokes in there. You know, that would be his like main move. He'd like go in, grab your eyes, and pull them out. You know what I mean? That would be John Jones. Like that'd be like his. That'd be meta. Yo, what's meta at the moment? Oh yeah, bro. John Jones eye poke combo. You know, that'd be meta. Yo, Loki, Alex Pereira would be kind of fun. He'd have like tribal powers and shit. Like he'd like call on little Pereiras to bite you. That'd be like his fatality while he just walks up to you. And also he'd have the bow like Izzy, because that's where Izzy got the bow. That'd be like, you know. And he'd just be so heavy with his hands, you know, like shove cut, I think. I know shove cut's not too heavy with his hands, but I feel like in this game he would be. Obviously S as well. You know, let me put him in the archetype. This is its own archetype. This kind of thing here. Maybe even Dreekers as well with funny stuff, you know. But he doesn't throw funny stuff like these guys though. He just is funny stuff. These guys do it on purpose. But yeah, nah, that'd be, you know, wheel kick, shit like that, just, you know, just quick, snappy, you know, it would be cool. Okay, Johnny Cage right here, and he's going B. I never really liked playing Johnny Cage that much. He's kind of just there, you know. Oh fuck. It's just, I love him, man, but to play with, there's nothing really going for him. I don't think. I'm trying to like headshot dead, you know. Maybe he'd have like a really cool power kick to the head. That like, you know how it's not only when you get the special moves when you're like below a certain health. Maybe when he gets below a certain health, his special moves just better than everyone else's, and that's why he'd be meta for like a couple of weeks until like the game developers realize, oh yeah, it's kind of busted, let's change it. That would be Leon Edwards. He'd have a couple weeks of glory. Loki's same for Cody Garbrandt. It'd be like Genji. Cody Garbrandt would be like Genji because he'd have like a bit like his fights. He'd have like a certain little period of time where he's just the best character. He's so meta. Everyone's playing Cody Garbrandt, and then he's just shit. Exactly like Genji. Like he's so good. Everyone's playing him, and then he's just shit. You know, that'd be Cody Garbrandt. Even like his fights. Oh, okay. Okay, Ilya Taporia. I'm gonna put A. I think. I don't think he's quite S yet, but bro, he'd be so fun. You know, he'd be so fun. He'd have some like, he'd be just red. You know, just red. That's what he'd do. Like his eyes would light up red. His fists would have like red fucking force fields. They'd be on fire and shit. And he'd just be here, and then he'd stalk you. Pop pop, pop 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 pop, pop 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 pop. You know, he'd just be so sick, bro. Ilya Taporia would be fun to play. Kamaru Usman. I'm trying to think. How would he be fun? I'm putting him there for now, just so I can think. Oh no, he'd just have like, he'd be in full tribal wear, like Alex Pereira. He'd be full tribal, you know, because you know he loves his identity so much. Just full tribal wear, like that one character I can't think of from Mortal Kombat. But yeah, anyway, full tribal wear, and he'd look have like Way of the War. Oh no, Earth powers. He'd have Earth powers, and he'd like crumble the ground beneath you and shit like that. And he'd just like pick you, smash you on the ground like that, you know. by your legs. Shamil Gaziv. Alright, we gotta be real, you know? Eventually we gotta be real, bro. I was gonna put him S for the jokes, but come on, bro. Thumbs up, you know, the same archetype, but he'd have some primal rage. Shit like that. Actually, he might go next to Islam. He'd be a bit better than these goblins. Who else we got? I don't want to do any of these guys. It's just... I might be it. Oh, Conor McGregor. Okay. He'd have, like, some Celtic power, you know? Conor McGregor would have some Celtic power. Where he'd, like... Dun 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 dun. Oh, the earth is you know, and like shit, like his eyes would light up green and shit. I mean, he'd be all cold and he'd walk up to you. He'd either be that or he'd be like just over like he is now. He'd either be like he was or like he is, you know? It's no in between. Like he'd be really cool, cold, collected, powerful, or he'd be frantic, laughing with a bottle of beer. That's what he'd be like that. He'd be drunk. He'd be a drunken boxer. He'd have a bottle of beer, right? And he's just throwing like these jabs, and then he smashes you with a beer. That's what Conor McGregor would be. Something like that. Well, oh wait, there's one more I have to do. S. You know? I still don't like playing the bigger guys, but he would be so cool because you'd be throwing the craziest shit with him. You know? He'd be like, Chris. Oh my god, I've forgotten his name. Is it Chris? No. Oh my god, wait. Fat UFC fighter. Black guy. Chris Barnett. Yeah, it is Chris. Chris Barnett. I've got his second name. Chris Barnett. He'd be, because he's so big, but he does all these crazy kicks, you know, taekwondo stuff. Bro, he'd be so good. Is Johnny Walker on here? I don't know, but if Johnny Walker's on here, he'd obviously go S, bro. These guys just so fun. But yeah, Chris Barnett he'd like have water power, like Po from Kung Fu Panda, when he's like, he reaches inner peace and he's like imagining the water droplet. That'd be Chris Barnett, like Rain from Mortal Kombat. Choked on saliva. Oh, well, there you have it. You know, that's the list. UFC fighters, if they were, how good they'd be if they were in Mortal Kombat, how much you'd like to play them, stuff like that. But yeah, that is it. I'm gonna move Conor McGregor higher. I feel like it'd be fun, you know, with his beer ball, you know. But yeah, there you go. UFC fighters, if they were in Mortal Kombat, how fun they'd be, how much I like playing them, and what they'd have, you know. Thank you, if there is any of you who are watching. Goodbye.